Good evening, you're watching the news from the Sultan of Oman television. First, the headlines. His Majesty Sultan Haitham bin Tarik greets the President of Lithuania on the occasion of his country's National Day. With the Sultanate's participation, the Munich Security Conference discusses international issues and global peace. And Iranian Foreign Minister says that his country is willing to move back towards the 2015 nuclear deal if Europe provides meaningful economic benefits.
لقد شاءت إرادة الله سبحانه أن نفقد أعز الرجال وأنقاهم المغفور له بإذن الله حضرة صاحب الجلالة السلطان قابوس بن سعيد بن تيمور رحمه الله، رجل لا يمكن لخطاب كهذا أن يوفيه حقه وأن يعدد ما أنجزه وما بناه، فجزاه الله خير ما جزاه سلطانا عن شعبه وبلده وأمته، وأنزله منازل الصالحين وجعل مثواه في جنات النعيم.
Those are the headlines, and now for the news in detail. His Majesty Sultan Haitham bin Tarik sent a cable of greetings to His Excellency President Itanas Nuseda of Lithuania on the occasion of his country's National Day. Iran would be willing to move back towards the 2015 nuclear deal if Europe provides meaningful economic benefits. The Iran's foreign minister said the European parties to the Iran nuclear deal, Britain, France and Germany, have been battling to save it since US President Donald Trump withdrew from it and reimposed tough sanctions on Iran. Iran has responded to the US pullout with a series of steps back from its own commitments under the deal, including by increasing the uranium enrichment. But Mohammad Javad Zarif said the Islamic Republic could be willing to move back towards compliance under certain circumstances. Zarif told reporters at the Munich Security Conference that they will decide whether what Europe does is sufficient to slow down or to reverse some steps. They have not even ruled out reversing some of the steps that they have taken. The Munich 56 Security Conference continued for the second day, discussing current and future security challenges at both regional and international levels with the participation of more than 40 countries. Participants to the conference discussed security challenges to Libya, Gulf, East Asia, and Trump's Middle East peace plan, as well as climate change. The conference also discussed issues concerning terrorism, the return of combatants to their countries, and strategies to counter international terrorist groups and organizations. The conference is a global platform for decision makers around the world to discuss current and international security issues and challenges and means to stabilize areas of conflict. The Sultanate of Oman delegation was chaired by His Excellency Yusuf bin Alawi bin Abdullah, Minister responsible for foreign affairs. The Sultanate's participation in this conference stems from its ongoing efforts to support any collaborative initiative to maintain security and peace in the region. Turkey today hit back at Russian accusations of failing to honor a 2018 deal by insisting it carried out its responsibilities in Idlib, Syria's last major rebel bastion. Turkey has 12 observation posts in the northwest province of Idlib after the 2018 agreement between Russia and Turkey to prevent a Damascus-led offensive. Up to 4 of Turkey's posts are now in Syrian regime-controlled territory. Turkey and Russia have been embroiled in a war of words over Idlib, as the Syrian government, backed by Moscow, has intensified an assault. Idlib is held by an array of rebels dominated by the Hayat Tahrir al-Sham militant group, which is led by members of the country's former al-Qaeda franchise. The tensions began after 14 Turks were killed this month by Syrian shelling in Idlib. Turkish Foreign Minister Mevlut Cavusoglu today repeated the threat that Turkey would take necessary measures if diplomatic efforts with Russia failed. He told reporters he would hold talks with Russia counterpart Sergei Lavrov today at the Munich Security Conference. A Turkish delegation will go to Moscow on Monday. Syrian troops began clearing barricades from the main highway between Damascus and Aleppo today after recovering full control of the road in a Russian-backed offensive. It marks a major gain for President Bashar al-Assad, as reopening the M5 highway will restore the shortest route between Syria's two biggest cities for the first time in more than 7 years of conflict. Restoring government control of the M5 has been seen as a major objective of the offensive that has been underway since early December in the rebel-held northwest. The offensive has forced more than 800,000 people to flee. The reopening of the highway was part of a 2018 agreement between Russia and Turkey, which was concluded with the stated aim of stabilizing the situation in the Idlib region of the northwest, a major foothold for the anti-government insurgency. The pact called for establishing a demilitarized zone between the warring sides, in addition to reopening of a second highway, the main road linking Aleppo with the government-held coastal region. The United States and the Taliban have agreed to a temporary truce that, if successful, would open the way for a deal that would bring American troops home from Afghanistan and end 18 years of war. The peace deal would call for negotiations between Afghans on both sides of the conflict to start next month, an eventual countrywide ceasefire and a commitment from the Taliban not to harbor terrorist groups like Al-Qaeda, while setting a timetable for the withdrawal of U.S. troops. The truce marks a milestone in efforts to end America's longest-running conflict and fulfill President Donald Trump's campaign pledge to bring U.S. troops home from foreign conflicts. But prospects for a real and lasting peace remain unclear. The U.S. official said the agreement for a 7-day reduction in violence is very specific and covers the entire country, including Afghan government forces. The co-chair of a World Health Organization WHO meeting said Chinese scientists are testing 2 antiviral drugs against the new coronavirus, and preliminary clinical trials results are weeks away. Dr. Marie-Paul Kenai, a former WHO virologist, co-chaired the 2-day closed-door research forum in Geneva of more than 300 scientists and researchers, including some who took part virtually from China and Taiwan. The coronavirus, now dubbed COVID-19, that emerged in central China in December has infected more than 44,000 people and killed over 1,100 in China, and has spread to at least 24 other countries. Kiani said quite a number of patients had already been dosed with a combination of the antiviral drugs, ritonavir and lopinavir. She hoped it would be excellent if it would work, because this drug is available in particular as a generic formula for the treatment of HIV, so this would clearly be a drug that would be available. A state-run Chinese research institute applied last week for a patent on the use of the experimental antiviral drugs remdesivir and from the US-based Gilead Science Incorporated, which scientists hope may be effective against the coronavirus. The late Sultan, His Majesty Qaboos bin Said bin Taimur, has done the best to empower the Omani citizens and develop their capacity to carry out their noble national tasks. More details in the following report by Abdullah bin Ahmed Al-Rubai.
23rd of July 1970, a new era of development, progress and prosperity. This glorious date marked a new Omani dawn under the leadership of His Majesty the late Sultan Qaboos bin Said bin Taimur. It marked the beginning of a new stage of development and growth at which modern nation was built. His Majesty Sultan was an extraordinary man, a masterful yet thoughtful leader. Under his guidance, the Sultanate has demonstrated a remarkable story of societal progress and stability.
The past decade has made heavy demands on Oman. Not only have the most sustained and intensive efforts had to be made in our determination to provide a better life for our people, but at the same time, we have fought to preserve our independence from foreign-inspired aggression. Today, happily, that aggression has been defeated, and great strides have been made in the improvement of the quality of life of our people.
Education has been one of the cornerstones for the late Sultan's vision for prosperity of the Sultanate and its people. Dr. Abdullah bin Hamoud al-Harthi is one of many Omanis born in the 1970s. His generation represent the nation's story.
Being born in the 70s, my generation represents the story of this nation. We grew up with this nation. We've seen how far we have gone. I personally have studied in institutions that carry His Majesty's name. From school, I went to school in Sultan School, and I also had the pleasure of graduating from the Sultan Qaboos University. Of course, we can always talk about numbers of how things have changed over the last 49 years, from healthcare, education, the roads, the infrastructure. But what His Majesty has built was much more than bricks and roads.
Since the beginning, His Majesty the late Sultan was keen on ensuring that the Omani person is the maker of development. Hence, the call from His Majesty for the sons of Oman to return and help rebuild the country.
His main thing was restoring our national pride. In the early 70s, when this country started again under his leadership, he brought back Omanis who were all over the world and asked them to let bygones be bygones and help him build this nation. And one of the major things that they have built is the Omani identity, which is represented by the Omani values.
His Majesty Sultan Qaboos wanted citizens to build a modern state capable of restoring the glory of Oman and its cultural role in the region and the world, on the basis of citizenship, equality, the rule of law, and the spirit of the times.
Over the years, I've met many different people from outside of the region, and they always keep telling me the same sentence: Omanis are quite friendly. Well, we are. The issue is that it's not in our DNA. We weren't born with it. We were raised with it. These were fundamentals of the values that His Majesty has instilled in us. A message of peace, a message that emphasizes that the rule of law is important.
The work for construction and development in the country and for the friendship and peace, justice and harmony, coexistence and understanding, and positive constructive dialogue abroad, as the late His Majesty the Sultan wanted.
All Omani take pride in is the history that this nation carries. His Majesty has ensured that even though we look to the future, we do not forget where we came from. This is represented by the emphasis in the way we dress, the music that is being played, the preservation of monuments and forts and different things that would represent the Omani culture.
His Majesty the Sultan preserved Omani values, culture and traditions and maintained valiant and exemplary Omani heritage.
Even though the grief is palpable in every home and we mourn the loss of His late Majesty Sultan Qaboos, we do believe that the fundamentals that he has instilled in this nation will ensure that we continue to follow in his footsteps and will ensure that Oman prospers under the leadership of the current Sultan Haytham bin Tariq. We ask Allah to continue to bless this country and bless His Majesty.
Sultan Qaboos was not only admired and respected, he was loved by all.
Omanis live by his unforgettable legacy. His wisdom will be a pointer as a compass to continue the journey of success. Your Majesty, the nation reassures you to work with His Majesty Sultan Haytham bin Tariq bin Taimur, and Oman will continue the journey of success.
وسنبني علاقتنا مع جميع دول العالم على تراث عظيم خلفه لنا السلطان الراحل عليه رحمة الله ومغفرته أساسه الالتزام بعلاقات الصداقة والتعاون مع الجميع واحترام المواثيق والقوانين والاتفاقيات التي أمضيناها مع مختلف الدول والمنظمات.
His Excellency Dr. Ahmed bin Mohammed Al Saidi, Minister of Health and President of the Supreme Council of the Arab Board of Health Specialization, chaired today the meeting of the Arab Board Health Services Executive Office hosted by the Sultanate in Muscat. More details in the following report by Abdullah bin Ahmed Al Rubai.
The Arab Board of Health Specializations meeting began this morning. The meeting ratified the minute recommendations and decisions that have been made in the previous meeting, as well as reviewed the annual report of Secretary General and academic report of the activities of the scientific boards during 2019. In addition, the meeting highlighted a number of related issues, including the draft budget of the year 2020, recommendations of the Joint Consultative Scientific Council, the proposal of the board's work plan 2020, and the directives of the five-year plan 2021-2025.
This is the first meeting of the Arab Council for Medical Specialties in Oman. We would like to extend our deep respects to His Majesty, the new Sultan of Oman. Wish him prosperous and good luck, and we convey to him our greetings and our best wishes for best future for our friends in Oman. Generally, the Arab Council for Medical Specialties is responsible for giving specialty all over the world, the Arab world. In the past few years, there has been great progress in the medical field, and many new specialties have been created in response to new diseases and to the spread of technology all over the world. The Arab world is following. This council represents very positive and cooperative effort by the Arab League and the ministers of health all over the Arab world to improve the quality of doctors and medical care for the Arab people. Definitely there has been discussions about creating new and introducing new specialties in the Arab world.
Professor Rawaz reviewed the report of the Secretariat, which included the activities of the Secretariat during 2019, the 2020 operational plan, the developmental programs which had implemented in various fields in order to keep pace with the global development.
The Arab Board was established in 1979 to be the platform for training doctors to become specialists in different fields and supply the workforce for doctors in the Arab world. Later on, it has expanded to cover other specialties, so the board becomes, instead of Arab Board of Medical Specialization, it became the Arab Board for Health Specializations. And it has now 18 scientific councils and covers 45 specialties.
It's worth mentioning that His Excellency Dr. Ahmed bin Mohammed Al Saidi, Minister of Health, has been elected as the President of the Arab Board of Health Specialization Supreme Council during the Supreme Council meeting, which took place last September at the General Secretariat of the Arab League States headquarters in Egypt. Furthermore, Professor Umar bin Awad bin Salim Al Rawaz has been elected as the Arab Board Health Specialization Secretary General last May. Abdullah bin Ahmed Al Rubai, Sultanate of Oman Television, Muscat.
More than 477 tons of unripe dates was delivered last year. The purchase value reached 145,000 Omani rials. The Ministry of Commerce and Industry stated that the production of unripe dates, locally known as basur, is deemed optimal form of dates production, which both contributes to increased profit return for farmers and the national GDP. It is worth mentioning that the ministry supports farmers who export unripe dates directly by paying 62 Omani rials per ton. According to the latest data issued by the National Center for Statistics and Information, the inflation rate in the Sultanate in last January increased by 0.43% compared to the same month last year. The average witnessed an increase by 0.16% compared to December 2019. At the governorate's level, the Governorate of Tahira witnessed the highest inflation rate by 1.07%. Oxford Business Group stressed in its annual report that the sound economic planning has enabled Oman to achieve a growth parallel with the plans for economic diversification. Planning, the group also mentioned in its annual report titled Oman 2020 that the manufacture sector has played a pivotal role in the Oman's march to diversity, its resources to national economy achieving 10% of the country's GDP. The report further stated that the industrial estates and free zones have played a major role in promoting the value of industrial exports, which are predicted to reach $35 billion by 2040. In its annual report, Oxford Business Group mentioned that Oman has identified high-priority sectors in its efforts to diversify its economy by introducing legislative reforms that provide an environment conducive to growth and appealing to foreign investments. The report concluded that findings in the reports was the result of field research conducted by a group of analysts over more than 1 year, targeting the overwhelming economy, the infrastructure, banking, and developments in other sectors. The total of the Sultanate's exports of oil, gas and oil condensates reached 756,586 barrels, with a decline by 17.88% compared to the daily export average last month. Statistics issued by the Ministry of Oil and Gas clarified that the Sultanate production of crude oil and oil condensates reached more than 958,000 barrels. China topped the Sultanate's oil export countries, followed by Japan. The total deposits at banking sector recorded a growth by 1.7% to reach 23,700 million Omani riyals at the end of December 2019. The data issued by Central Bank of Oman showed that the deposits of private sector at banking sector witnessed an increase by 6.2% to reach 15,200 million Omani riyals last December. Now for the general weather forecast around the Sultanate. Clear skies will prevail over most of the governorates, with chances of low cloud and fog late at night and early morning over the coast of the Arabian Sea. Cloudy skies with chances of intermittent drizzle are expected over the governorates of Dhofar. Winds will be southeasterly light to moderate. Seas will be slight to moderate with a maximum wave height of 2 meters. This is the Sultanate of Oman Television. Before we end tonight's bulletin, here are the main points once again. His Majesty Sultan Haitham bin Tareq greets the President of Lithuania on the occasion of his country's National Day. With the Sultanate's participation, the Munich Security Conference discusses international issues and global peace. And Iranian Foreign Minister says that his country is willing to move back towards the 2015 nuclear deal if Europe provides meaningful economic benefits. With that, we come to the end of tonight's news bulletin. From all of us here in the newsroom and the studio, it's good night.